what does it smell like in here? It smells like subpar beer and the potential for a mosh pit and over expensive merchandise. It's another gig and festival season, guys. We are so excited for it, and particularly if it's your first time or your 25th time and you are concerned about your safety in gigs, if you're going alone or, like I said, it is your first time, then please stay tuned for some health and safety tips that can help you out with your safety at gigs and festivals. Hello, you beautiful creatures. How the devil are you? I hope you're well. If you're new here, my name is Lou. My name is Loucifer. As my friends like to call me, by my friends, my army, demons. It is a new year. I know we're in March. We move. I know we're in April. With the new year, that means it's new. So with the new year, that means it's new. All the good stuff, rock-wise, heavy metal-wise, and alternative music-wise, heavy metal-wise, and alternative music-wise. That is amazing. People are getting excited for it, and that is amazing. It's the 25th time for a few people. It's the 25th time for a few people. I've noticed, particularly with going to gigs for myself. I've noticed, particularly with going to gigs for myself, a little bit. The culture particularly has changed a little bit. The culture particularly has changed around at the moment. There are a lot of horror stories going around at the moment about experiences quite unsavoury people in gig crowds, whether it's really bad mosh pit etiquette, whether it's really bad mosh pit etiquette, whether it's being harassed, whether it's being so I'm really hoping on this video that we can shine some light on ways to make yourself feel a lot more safer, ways to make yourself feel going alone, particularly if you're going alone, lady, or particularly if you are feeling very anxious about your first time, if you are feeling very anxious about your first time, a little bit of support with going to your first gig, with going to your first like gig, I said, these are a few hints and tips. Like I'm not going to do a top 10 this time. I did one of those. I'm not going to do a top 10 this time. I did one of those. This is a more condensed version time ago. So I really hope this helps. If it does help you, so I really hope this helps. If it does help you, please pop it down in the comments below or consider subscribing. That would be amazing. Let's get to it. Okay, so kicking off with the first little bit of advice for you: making friends with the people around you. Yes, particularly if you're going on your own. I've done this so many times. So if you find yourself in a group of quite nice people, like-minded people, please don't be afraid to kind of get a connection going, get a bit of a chat going, just because then, particularly if you're close to the barrier, sometimes you might experience a surge when the band does come on. So if that does happen, it means that you can protect each other. Or if there is a mosh pit going on behind you and you don't particularly want to join in, you can all club together and make sure you're supporting each other. This also means that you've got a trustworthy group of people around you, particularly if you've got personal items, if you've got expensive items on you, and also if you're feeling a little bit anxious as well. Sometimes it can really help to lower those nerves. But most people in gigs are absolutely friendly. They're there for the same reason you are, to have a really good night. And most people honestly don't mind having people tagging along with them. Sometimes it's nice to make a lifelong gig friend. Like, we have done it so many times and we've made so many incredible friends this way. So yes, don't be afraid to speak up and make some new friends, but also remaining safe at the same time. The next one, and this is a biggie: having plenty of charge on your phone, particularly if you are in a festival as well, particularly if you're in a field as well. It's so important to have a lot of charge on your phone. You can buy power banks beforehand and you can take them into the arena and gig with you, as long as you show security and you're like, look, this is a power bank, it's absolutely fine. Particularly with festivals as well, they do have kiosks where you can purchase a power bank to charge up your phone, but I cannot tell you how important it is to make sure your phone is charged. The first download I ever went to, I had no idea who the people were that were meant to be taking me home. However, because our phone died, well, both of our phones, we basically had to scour through the car park for about 2 hours before we actually found the people we were meant to be going home with. So honestly, charging your phone and making sure it's fully charged, particularly for the end of the night, is super important. Short but sweet: having a meeting point, particularly in festivals. Festivals are so big and there can be thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people in a very small field or big field, depending on where you're at. So I always say at the start of the festival or at the start of the gig, wherever, I will find a designated meeting spot just for where me and my friends or myself and my partner can meet up at. So sometimes if you've got a friend that wants to go in a mosh pit or they want to crowd surf, by the end of the gig or by the end of the festival, you know that you're going to be able to find that friend at that meeting point, okay? It's just like a point of contact for everybody, no matter where they are. Particularly if your phones have died as well, you can always go to that meeting point and regroup. Make a point if you need help. Oh my god, this one is so important. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a story from a gig we've just been to previously. It was the Creeper gig. It was in Sheffield Leadmill. Bearing in mind this place is quite compact, so something that happened was, and it wasn't too great, this woman, I believe it was a woman or multiple women, they were grabbed by some men in a very inappropriate way. They didn't know who these people were, and it really ruined their evening. However, because they communicated with the people in the crowd and it got to us, we could then throw up big X's. So this sign is so important. This is actually a theme park sign to say stop if anything happens. However, if multiple people are doing this and shouting stop at the band, hopefully the band will stop. Creeper is a fantastic band. I really recommend, particularly if you've got anxiety as well, going to a Creeper gig, because honestly they are so good at looking after their fans. A lot of bands now are making a statement of saying that their community is safe, that gigs are a safe space. If you notice that something is wrong, particularly in a medical incident, whether it's yourself, a friend or someone in the group, or if somebody's having a really bad experience with another gig goer and they need to be removed from the venue, throw up some X's or say no, absolutely not, or stop, or shout to the band to stop the gig, okay? 9 times out of 10, the band will stop the gig. This is really important in intimate venues. If it is a festival, I really implore you to try and push the person forwards that needs to get out of the crowd, particularly when it comes to crowd surges as well. Sometimes it gets very overwhelming for people, particularly with anxiety, who aren't used to being crushed like that. So yeah, make a statement and make sure you're heard, and make sure security are aware, and make sure the band are aware as well. Going on to security. Yes, security. Every single gig, every single festival has security, whether they're walking out and about or they're at the front just behind the barrier and they're protecting the band. They will be keeping an eye on every single part of the crowd to make sure everybody is okay. If you are at the barrier, it's always nice to get a good rapport going with security as well, so they know when you're being serious and when you're having a little bit of a joke. But it's really good to get that communication going so they can help you throughout the gig. Please understand that security are there to help you, so please don't be intimidated by them. However, equally, if there are security members that just aren't doing their job and they're just not supporting you, then it's always important to let other security members know and ask if you can speak to a supervisor as well, because at the end of the day, they're there to make sure you're safe, okay? Whether it's getting over the barrier, whether it's needing a drink, often they will literally come up and down the barrier and they will give drinks to you and they'll make sure you're okay. That's their job at the end of the day. Please use them if you need to. Social media and finding buddies. This is so wholesome. I love it so much. I'm a part of the Download Girls group and it is amazing, and the Download Standard group as well. And what they do with those groups is, if you're particularly going on your own or you're going in a small group of people and it's your first time, you can comment and see if anybody fancies meeting up. 9 times out of 10, people are more than happy to meet up. There is also, for Download particularly, there is a solo camp that you can go to. Everybody is like-minded, everybody's going solo, and you can make friends that way. And then if you do have particular band taste that you like, you can go and see those bands all together to make sure you're safe, to make sure you're not on your own, and to make sure you reduce that anxiety before going into a venue, going into a gig, going into a festival. You're not going to be on your own, and honestly, enjoying music with another person is so nice. So if you are umming and ahhing about putting like a status or anything in a group, please don't worry about it, because honestly there are some really nice people out there that want to make sure you have a good time as well, okay? And like I said with the previous comment, you never know, you might make a new lifelong friend or a best friend, or just like a gig friend that you go to gigs with or festivals with. At the end of the day, it's a nice way of meeting new people, and it's also a way of making sure you're safe and you're in a group of people for your safety. Okay, I'm kind of going to put these points together. So I said confidence, and remember, if you have to make a scene, remember, no means no. I've met so many people who have had horrible experiences, myself included. I am a survivor of multiple different events, and a lot of people let their anxiety win over in these situations. They also don't want to come across as rude. You don't have to take that, whether you're a man, whether you're a woman, whether you're non-binary, no matter who you are. You do not have to take unwelcome attention at the end of the day. If something is going on and it's not right, it doesn't feel right, you're not in the right frame of mind, you're not sure what you want, no, absolutely not. Do not be afraid to make a scene. Do not be afraid to be heard. At the end of the day, that is how you get more people on your side. That is how we stop things like this happening repeatedly, because this is happening so much, and this is why it's important to raise awareness, because at the end of the day, these places are meant to be safe spaces for everybody, not just for a certain minority, not just for a few people. You have paid for your ticket the same as everybody else in that venue, gig, festival. You deserve to be safe, okay? So if you need to hear it from me. Your experience matters, your safety matters, and like I said, no means no. Do not be afraid to shout up for your safety. Go in with confidence and make sure you own that. Alcohol is a big one. Coming from an ex-alcoholic, it's really good to have a little bit of a tipple every now and again. However, please do not go overboard if you are on your own, or if you are in a small group, or if this is the first time you've gone somewhere like this, or this is the first experience you're having. Please get your bearings first. Trust me, it might sound a little bit nerdy and it might sound a little bit sucky. However, once you get your bearings and you know what's going on, you know you're in a safe place, and you know that people can look after you, then maybe go a little bit harder with the alcohol. But please don't do it unnecessarily if you're in a place that you don't know the layout of the place. There are so many times, particularly in festivals, where people have been taken advantage of because they are under the influence and they can't fully fight back, okay? I'm not trying to scare anybody. However, we just need to be mindful about what we're doing, and it sucks, it really sucks, because you think, oh, I'm in a safe space, you know, it should be absolutely fine. However, not everybody thinks like that, and people think that when you're under the influence you are easier to take advantage of, okay? So please, if you're in a new space, if you're in a new experience, just be mindful about how much you're drinking until you're comfortable, you know what's going on, and you know that your safety is top priority and you're going to be absolutely fine. Then drink away, okay? Personal belongings. You will not believe how many people lose their personal belongings, particularly expensive things at gigs, festivals, all the music venues. Honestly, I would say boob pockets are the best pockets you will have. I have never gone wrong with a boob pocket or a really small bag either, okay? The bigger your bag is, the more likely it is to be like jostled about, and things might fall out all over the place. Just when you're going to gigs, I really recommend traveling light, okay? If I go to a gig, the minimum I'll take with me is money, whether that's my credit card or whether that's my actual money, like physical money, and my phone. That is all I would take most of the time. Pretty much that's it, because I have got a partner who takes his own stuff as well. Gareth, he takes his wallet, he takes his keys, and he takes his phone as well. But we make sure that it's well hidden, okay? So like I said, for the ladies particularly, boob pockets are amazing, or a small bag. For the lads, I'd say a bum bag, or make sure if you're wearing jeans or something like that, that you've got really deep pockets, because then you're less likely to lose things. You wouldn't believe how many people have lost like phones and all sorts in mosh pits, picks as well. So a lot of bands, they will throw out picks, drumsticks and set lists. Honestly, you do not want to be the one to put a pick in your pocket and it falls out and it's your favorite band. That is a big no-no. So with your personal belongings, please make sure they are safe. With a lot of gigs and a lot of venues and festivals, they do have lockers as well, so you are always more than welcome to use the lockers. They will have an extra charge for them, so just be mindful about that when you're thinking about what you're going to take. And the last main one, get out of there if you need to. I know there's nothing worse than coming towards the end of the evening and knowing that the finale is nearly there and it's going to be amazing. There's going to be streamers everywhere. It's going to be awesome. However, if your safety calls for it, get out of there immediately. You're basically in a compact area full of people when you go to gigs and when you go to festivals. If you need to get out of there for your personal safety, as somebody who has severe anxiety, if I'm having an anxiety attack, I know that I need to exit that space as quickly as possible. Particularly with festivals, it's always really good to hop over the barrier. Security will help you, please don't worry. With gigs, it is just a case of turning around and tunneling your way through, okay? Don't force yourself to stay until the end if your safety is in question, if your physical well-being is in question and your mental well-being is in question. At the end of the day, bands are more than likely to do more than one gig, okay? So you can always catch them again. Do not push yourself until the end because it will really mess with you. Take it from somebody who knows. We camped out at the second stage for Ghost at Download all day. At this point, we'd got like sunburnt heck. We were dealing with heat stroke. I'd also been assaulted as well by someone who I was pretty sure was on ketamine. I'd been assaulted as well, and I was basically told that I'm at Download, I should expect it, and that really messed with me. But because I wanted to be at the barrier for Ghost, like I thought I was powering through it, and I really wasn't. Like for the rest of the week, I was like a shell. It was awful. It was absolutely awful. So please, from somebody who knows, like I've been going to gigs and festivals on and off for like 11 years now, okay? I've been there, I've done that, I've got the t-shirt. Particularly if you're a teenager, if you've got kids with you, if you're feeling anxious, if you are a girl that's on their own. You know, I look back on some of my experiences now and I wrote it off as people being over friendly. They weren't being over friendly, you know, and it sucks that being older, I've now figured that out, okay? I've heard horrible stories from men, women, all sorts of people, okay? At the end of the day, you've really got to look after yourself, all right? I'm not trying to put anybody off gigs. I'm really not. Gigs are some of the best experiences you will ever have. However, you are important. Your safety matters, your mental well-being matters, and your physical well-being matters, okay? Just please look after yourself. And that is the end of my video, okay? If you enjoyed this video and you'd like some more hints and tips, please let me know in the comments below. I'd really appreciate it. At the end of the day, I don't want people to go through what I went through, okay? I'm just kind of highlighting a few things that you could be mindful of before going to your first experience, or if you are going in a small group and you're all a little bit unsure of what's going on, or if you're going by yourself, okay? There are other groups that talk about this kind of stuff. So Safe Gigs for Women specifically is a charity, is a movement that talks about the safety of women in gigs, festivals, so on and so forth. They work with different promoters, they work with different artists, different bands to try and emphasize that message. I would really love to do something with them. But like I said, I'm not trying to generalize who this kind of stuff happens to. However, being on the girls download group, I can tell you every single night without fail there'd be about 50 or 60 different incidents where women had been assaulted, where they had been the R word, they had been attacked, they had been you know, treated horribly by their boyfriends or treated horribly by hookups. They haven't been looked after. They've been taken advantage of in crowds. One of my friends that we actually went to a gig with, he was assaulted by a woman who thought that because they were all in a gig together, that they didn't know each other, that, you know, she could do whatever she wanted to him, and honestly it really messed him up. So please don't think that this is generalized for women. It's a generalization for everybody, okay? Nobody is asking for it. Just because you're in a gig or you're in a venue where you can become anonymous when the lights go down, that's not consent. It is never consent. No means no. If you do not know that person and they have not given you specific consent, back off, okay? If you do find myself or Gareth in a gig, because sometimes he will go to gigs on his own, if you notice us and you are feeling unsafe, please don't be shy to come over, and if you want to stand with us, you are more than welcome to stand with us. I've got very big mama bear vibes about me. Gareth is basically a powerhouse and a black belt, so, you know, you're safe with us, okay? But like I said, please, I know it's a time to have fun, it's a time to let your hair down, it's a time to have a good time watching the bands that you absolutely adore. However, you really need to be safe in these environments, okay? Gig etiquette at the moment is, for the most part, it's great, but in some fan groups it is horrendous, okay? So please don't be another horror story. If you would like to talk to me privately about something that has happened to you, or an experience that you'd just like to get off your chest, or if you think that I should do another video with other bits of useful information about how to enjoy yourselves at a gig or at a festival whilst being safe, then please let me know. The more people that have this conversation, the better. At the end of the day, gigs and the music industry should be safe for everybody, okay? And that is super important. So I really hope this helped. I hope you've had a good day. If not, that's okay. Always remember, tomorrow's a new day. See you later, guys. Bye.